Knicks versus Celtics. Derrick White ignites. Luke Kornet dominates defense as Boston crushes. New York 127 to 102 to force Game 6. The Boston Celtics weren't ready to pack their bags. Not yet. Not on their home floor. Not with a raucous TD Garden crowd behind them. Despite missing their superstar Jayson Tatum for the rest of the playoffs, and likely the next season, after a devastating torn Achilles, the Celtics summoned the full force of their grit and depth, delivering a thunderous 127 to 102 win over the New York Knicks in Game 5 of their second-round series. Boston now trails the series 3-2, but with the momentum flipped and Game 6 looming at Madison Square Garden, the Celtics suddenly don't look like a team on the ropes. And for that, thank Derrick White and Luke Kornet. Derrick White, the reluctant hero turns relentless scorer. With Tatum out, someone had to shoulder the scoring load. Enter Derrick White, who erupted for 34 points, including 7 triples on 13 attempts, putting on a perimeter shooting clinic. White didn't just step up. He elevated the entire team's energy. He was decisive, deadly, and unrelenting on both ends of the floor. White's performance was more than a stat sheet stuffer. It was a statement. Boston isn't going down quietly. "You lose your franchise guy, it hits you in the gut," White said post-game. "But we're still here. We still believe." Jaylen Brown matched White's fire with 26 points, 12 assists, and 8 rebounds, playing with the poise of a leader determined to rewrite the series narrative. Payton Pritchard came off the bench firing with 17 points, while Drew Holiday chipped in 14 points and 7 boards in a typically steady two-way showing. Kornet's block party. Defense turns the tide. But the man of the moment? Luke Kornet. Boston's seldom talked about reserve center became the unlikely enforcer of Game 5, turning TD Garden into his own personal block party. 7 blocks, 9 rebounds, and a perfect 5 for 5 from the field for 10 points. Kornet didn't just play well. He dominated the paint and disrupted everything New York tried inside. His length and timing suffocated the Knicks' front court. OG Anunoby was held to 6 points, Mikal Bridges to 9, and Mitchell Robinson to 8. Though Robinson did grab 13 rebounds, he had to earn every inch against Kornet's swarming presence. Even more impressive, Kornet's efforts neutralized the need for Kristaps Porzingis, who managed just 1 point in 12 minutes. The Celtics didn't need their starting big man to be the interior anchor. They had Kornet, and he was everywhere. Knicks lose their compass as Brunson fouls out. Jalen Brunson, the engine of this Knicks squad, put up 22 points, but his night ended in disaster. Already sitting with 5 fouls after the third quarter, head coach Tom Thibodeau had no choice but to gamble. Brunson re-entered early in the fourth, but with 7:13 remaining, his night, and possibly the Knicks' control of the series, was over. He fouled out at the worst possible moment. Without their floor general, the Knicks struggled to create offense. Josh Hart tried to carry the torch, leading the team with 24 points and 7 boards, while Karl Anthony Towns added 19 points and 8 rebounds, but it wasn't nearly enough. The Celtics sensed the shift and pounced. Boston launched a game-breaking 11-0 run midway through the third, punctuated by White's fearless scoring, first with a dagger 3, then drawing contact and sinking all 3 free throws. Pritchard joined the Avalanche with a deep 3 of his own, pushing Boston's lead out of reach. By the time Mazzulla emptied his bench with 2:34 left, the score read 120-97, and TD Garden had erupted into a sea of chants, applause, and disbelief. First quarter fire, blood, bruises, and no backing. Down Game 5 didn't just have intensity, it had blood. With just under 3 minutes left in the first quarter, things got gritty. Luke Kornet, in the thick of defensive action, inadvertently caught Josh Hart with an elbow to the face. Hart immediately dropped to the floor, blood streaming from a gash above his left eye. Trainers rushed in, wiping away crimson streaks as officials reviewed the play for a possible flagrant. The verdict? A common foul. Hart, undeterred, changed jerseys, returned to the floor, and calmly knocked down both free throws. But that wasn't the only scuffle. Seconds earlier, Brunson had elbowed Jaylen Brown in the stomach while trying to create space on the perimeter. Brown hit the floor, grimacing in pain. He later stormed toward the officials, demanding a review. After replay, the refs ruled Brunson's move a legitimate basketball action. No foul, but the message was clear. This was going to be a bruiser. Early in the third, the tension boiled over again. Brunson caught a shot to the jaw from White on a drive. No blood, but yet another physical blow in a game that had more body contact than a UFC prelim. 3-point barrage, Boston's long-range revival. The Celtics,